Okay.
My favorite bhajan is Dhanamura Nityananda. That's my favorite bhajan.
Wow, very okay. Now let's start singing Hare Krishna. We'll start with Jahnavi, then Radha, then Isha. One time Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare.
Very nice. Then Radha, go ahead.
Okay, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Wonderful. Isha.
Come.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare.
Wonderful, Isha. Next, Kabir.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Very nice. Next, another Kabir.
Hare Krishna, no. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, no. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Wonderful. Both the Kabirs did wonderful job. Who else is missing? Advait did not get Pranav. Advait,
Okay,
Pranav.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you, Mataji.
Wonderful. Pranav, go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Very bold, Pranav. Good job. Very nice. Okay. Now, before we are going to next person singing. Yeah. Come.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare.
Thank you, Vrinda. So now we all wish Sudevi happy birthday. Very nice tune I want. Okay. After that, after you wish 3 times Hare Krishna all together. Okay. Come on. Let's do it very nicely. Who is going to sing beautifully? We'll see. Hare Krishna. Happy birthday, Anil.
Happy birthday to
you. Happy birthday to you.
birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you.
May you never take
Never take birth
again. You never take birth again. Happy birthday.
to you.
Krishna three times. Hare
Krishna,
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare.
Very beautiful wishes by
Mataji.
all of you to Sudevi.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you to everyone.
We are very happy to have you in the class, Sudevi. Radhika Kasturi Mataji is here with us. She will start with the prayers. We did Hare Krishna Mahamantra, but then.
And today is Sudevi's birthday.
Yeah. We all wished her, Mataji, and we did Hare Krishna Mahamantra. You can start with the prayers.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. Mumagyanatimirandasyananjanashalakaya chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami iti namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschayata Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gauravakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you everyone. Happy birthday, dear Sudevi. You look so pretty. You look so beautiful. How old are you?
Mataji, today I'm 7.
7 years? But you seem like 47 years when it comes to divorce. No, are you sure? Okay. All right, kids. So we can get started now. Let me see. Where is my PowerPoint? Hurry. 1 minute, kids. Let me open my PowerPoint. Yeah, I got it. Okay, are you able to see?
No, Mataji, we can't see the screen.
Oh, you can't?
Mataji. Now we can see. Mataji.
Yeah, who's that?
It's me, Kabir.
Yes, Kabir.
I'm 7 as well.
What is that, dear?
I'm 7 as well.
Oh, you're 7 also? Okay, awesome, 7. All right. Okay, so let's get started, kids. Today I have to go a little early. So Preethi Vilasini Mataji will be covering the moral stories. Advait, where are you? You didn't get back to me on the moral stories. Next week, will you get back to me?
Sorry, Master, I totally forgot because homework and stuff. I totally
Okay.
forgot about that.
Okay.
Right after class, I'll try to find some and send it to you.
Okay, dear. Thank you so much. All right, kids. So we can get started now. And so let's see what's the overview so far. Okay. So with regards to this 15th chapter, the 2 sons in the womb of Diti, they were kicking her and they wanted to come out, but she was determined to keep them there. They were destined to disturb the demigods and cause great trouble to the world. But she was going to delay this as much as she could. In fact, she should hold her babies in her womb for 100 years. But these 2 boys are so powerful. Even from their mother's womb, they spread darkness everywhere. The light from the sun and the moon was unable to reach the planets, causing disaster. The light was the source of all life. The demigods, overcome with worry, approached Brahma to find out what was happening. because these boys created such a havoc. The demigods were getting a little worried. Oh, what is going on? We need to find out about this from Lord Brahma. So they went to Lord Brahma to see what is happening. And between Diti is carrying the two boys, and those two powerful boys are Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. That's why they were creating such tremor being in the womb of Diti. Okay, kids. Dear Brahma, they began. What is this darkness spreading in all directions? There is nothing you don't know, but please tell us. The situation is making us miserable and all our work has stopped. Uttering beautiful prayers to Brahma, the demigods pleaded with him. Brahma smiled. He began to tell them an interesting tale. It started with the four eldest sons, the four Kumaras, he said. They travel a lot through the material sky and even the spiritual sky. The demigods shot each other confused looks. They had no idea where the story was going or what the four sages had to do with permeating darkness. When Brahmaji was going to talk about the four Kumaras, these demigods, they didn't have any idea of what Brahmaji was talking. What is the relation of four Kumaras in regards to this context? Okay. Nevertheless, they trusted all would make sense soon. So they waited. They heard about this four Kumaras. They waited. Okay, eventually they will get to understand what this four Kumaras context is all about. And so they kind of patiently waited. Like you guys might be wondering, what is Mataji talking about? Very soon we will know what we are talking about. The Kumaras traveled throughout the universe and decided to enter the spiritual sky. As they flew higher and higher, they saw spiritual planets where the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his pure devotees live. They managed to see Vaikunta planets and asked the demigods in surprise. This was the destination they could only dream of attaining. Yet these boys were traveling there freely at their own will. Yes, replied Brahma. It was due to their mystic powers from yogic practice they are able to go to the spiritual world. Oh, pray, please tell us, what is it like there? So now the demigods, they all went to Brahmaji because of the tremors that was created by Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. Even being in the womb of Diti, they created such atrocious. I mean, they were so powerful that they could cause darkness. And because of this darkness, the demigods actually went to Lord Brahma and asked Lord Brahma, see what's going on. We don't know. These two sons of Diti, they are so powerful, it looks like, and they are causing so much trouble to us. Can you please look into this matter? Now, Brahmaji started to talk about who? Brahmaji started to talk about the four Kumaras. He started to explain about four Kumaras, and demigods were like, what is this got to do with the darkness that these two boys are influencing upon us? I really don't see any context. But then they patiently waited to hear from Brahma. Now Brahmaji has a story to say. He's going to talk about the Vaikunta planets, and he is going to explain how these Kumaras are capable of entering these Vaikunta planets at their own free will because of their yogic potency. And not everybody has that potency to kind of go to Vaikunta, right? But these four Kumaras had that power. So that is what Brahmaji was explaining to the demigods. Now the demigods became anxious. They wanted to know about the Vaikunta planets. What is it like? Who's there in Vaikunta? What does the abode look like? And how can one attain Vaikunta? All these is something that the demigods were listening from Brahma. Okay, so this is sort of the overview now. Now, the particular stanzas that we are going to discuss is something about the Vaikuntas. So this is the context. Any question, kids, before we actually enter into the purports of Srila Prabhupada and start discussing through that? Are you all clear?
Mataji,
Yes,
I know
yes.
in Srila Prabhupada, he builds so many temples.
Okay. Yes, he built so many temples. You're so excited about it, isn't it, Kabir? Very nice. He's so proud of Srila Prabhupada. That is how we have to also be. I love it, Kabir. All right. So now, As I told you, kids, I have to go a little early today, so cooperate with me. We will try to get this over, and after that, Preethi Vilasini Mataji will talk to you about moral stories. Okay? So let's get into the puppet and start talking about the puppet and see what Srila Prabhupada has to say. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Hare Krishna. So he says, the first purport says, Vaikunta Planets, the goddess of fortune, are faultless. Because, obviously, goddess of fortune is Lakshmi Devi. Generally, the goddess of fortune doesn't remain steadily in one place. If you look at, the Lakshmi, every house has Lakshmi, right? Lakshmi is the source of income, money, all this is Lakshmi. But she doesn't stay necessarily in one place. If you look at people's life, one person would have been the richest person, but he has a chance of falling down, right? So there's always, because she's Chanchala. Chanchala means one who's not steady. We find, therefore, a man who is rich may be the poorest of the poor. Another example is Ravana. So Ravana, what is up with Ravana? Ravana took away Lakshmi, Sita ji, to his kingdom, and instead of being happy by the grace of Lakshmi, his family and his kingdom were vanquished. Thus, Lakshmi in the house of Ravana is Sanchala, or unsteady. And what is the reason? The kids may ask, isn't it? You may have this question. Lakshmi is there, na? Then Ravana has to be happy. Why wasn't he happy? Why was Lakshmi Sanchala there? Why was she restless? Sanchala is very restless. She couldn't remain in that place for a long time. She was like waiting to go away from Ravana. Because Lakshmi, see, look at the picture. Lakshmi always likes to be serving the lotus feet of Narayana. When Lakshmi and Narayana are together, they are very happy. They're very that is when Lakshmi is steady. That is why she will not be Sanchala. So when we utilize our Lakshmi, that is the money we earn in the service of Lord Krishna, then she'll be very happy. Are you clear?
Yes, Mataji.
So the next purport is talking about the men of Ravana class want Lakshmi only without her husband. That is the reason she is Sanchala. Okay. Materialistic people find fault on the part of Lakshmi, but in Vaikunta, Lakshmi ji is fixed in the service of the Lord. As we saw in the previous picture, what was Lakshmi Devi doing? She was serving the lotus feet of the Lord, and this is her service. In spite of her being the goddess of fortune, she cannot be happy without the grace of the Lord. Without serving the Lord, nobody can be happy. This is what we all hanker for. And Krishna is the source of all happiness, and he can give happiness to all others like us if we involve ourselves in the service of Krishna. Even the goddess of fortune needs Lord's grace in order to be happy. Yet in the material world, even Brahma, the highest creator being, seeks the favor of Lakshmi for happiness. We all seek Lakshmi, but we all understand this Lakshmi has to be used in the service of Lord Krishna. That is when Lakshmi ji will be happy. So if I'm going to work, if I'm earning money out of my work, I should actually utilize the money in the service of Lord Krishna. How can it be utilized? It can be utilized by service to Vaishnava kids. That is, if I have my kids, I can use it in the service of the Vaishnava kids who are also into Krishna consciousness. Vaishnava family, if my family is into Krishna consciousness, then I can actually use that money, utilize that money in the service of Lord Krishna by that process. I can actually utilize my money by going to yatra. Different dhams are there, right? It is all there, but we need money to go there to different dhams, isn't it? If we were to go to Vrindavan, we have to book flight tickets, and for that we need Lakshmi ji. And that is why when we start utilizing, even though we are working, even though we are actually having to go to work, it is also service to Krishna in a secondary way, because we are utilizing it in the service of the Lord. And that is when Lakshmi ji will be very, very happy, because she's always waiting when she can be with Lord Narayan. And when we utilize the money in Krishna conscious services, then she'll be very happy. Are you clear, kids? I see Isha and Radha, you have questions. Okay, Radha first and then Isha. Go ahead, dear.
Actually, I have a compliment. Like you can also use you can make donations to temple.
Yes, you can make donations to temple.
Temple, my dad still does lots of donations.
Yes, yes, Radha, of course. We have to donate to temples too. See, our city doesn't have temples, but we are planning to have one soon. So there is that temple donation thing happening for the construction of the temple as such. So we are really looking forward to it. If all devotees donate, then the sum will become bigger, right? Yes, Isha, go ahead.
So Mataji, I have a question that
Huh.
like in that picture, are we gonna talk about Ravana killing the vulture? I forgot his name because there's a picture of it. So are we gonna learn about that?
Oh, no, dear, no, dear. We are not going to talk about that. We are not going to talk about kidnapping of Sita ji. Just, I was just, putting this picture. This is Jatayu, and he's trying to kill Jatayu when he was taking Sita away. And Jatayu was trying to protect Sita ji being kidnapped. He was trying his best, but he couldn't, he tried till his last breath. And Ram actually performed services as if he would do service for his father. So he did the Shraddha ceremony for him. So that close he was. Jatayu was so close to him that way. And Sita ji here, I'm just trying to depict through this picture that Ravana forcefully took away Sita or Lakshmi ji and leaving Narayan or Lord Krishna. So because of that, he is having to suffer. And Lakshmi ji is Sanchal here because she is not she's not in the service of Lord Narayan, and hence she is very unsteady here with Ravana. That is what I was trying to depict through this picture. Are you clear, dear?
Yes, Mataji, and I have one more question.
Okay.
The whole city got vanished when Lakshmi went there, right? So did the Britishers even destroy it, or was it just Lakshmi? Was it just Hanuman firing the city?
Hanuman was firing the city of Lanka. So what is your question now?
So did I think it might be rebuild the Lanka,
Yeah,
and
yeah. Yeah, and then Ram actually gave that to Vibhishan after Ravana's death, and Vibhishan began to rule the city with the grace of Lord Ram. Okay.
and then everything got destroyed by the Britishers.
No, Britishers didn't come into picture here. We're not talking anything about Britishers. In the story, there is no relevance to Britishers for that matter. Whatever whatever destruction was caused because of the grace of Lord Ram, when Vibhishan was going to rule the kingdom, everything, because he's a good ruler, everything became auspicious to this. Everything became auspicious in Lanka because of his rule. Okay. All right, kid. All right, Isha.
Yes,
Hare Krishna.
Mataji.
Okay, let's go. So it's 22nd, okay? Generally, a woman is kissed by her husband, her face becomes more beautiful. In Vaikunta also, although the goddess of fortune is naturally as beautiful as she can be imagined, she nevertheless awaits the kissing of the Lord to make her face more beautiful. This beautiful face of goddess of fortune appear in the ponds of transcendental crystal water when she worships the Lord with tulsi leaves in her garden. Again, this is not something material. It is just that, here in Vaikunta, we can see that because of her service, Lord Narayan also gives, shows his affection to to Lakshmi ji, which is what is clarified in the purport by Srila Prabhupada. Okay. Again, we are using a material analogy here, but it's completely transcendental. Okay. The relationships that we have in the spiritual world are all transcendental. And now, just to kind of recap why we are talking about Vaikunta, we see the demigods were disturbed by the two boys who were in the womb of Diti. Who were the two boys? They were Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. And since they were causing so much disturbance, the demigods went to Lord Brahma and Brahmaji, you know what? Lord, we see that these two boys in the womb of Diti, they are disturbing us so much. Can you help us out? And then Brahmaji started to talk about four Kumaras. When they started to talk about four Kumaras, oh my God, the demigods did not understand why they were talking about, Brahmaji is talking about four Kumaras. Now, Brahmaji is explaining to them that these four Kumaras have a potency, because of the mystic potency, they have the capability to actually go to Vaikunta, and Vaikunta is the place. Vaikunta is the place which has no sorrows. Okay, and these four Kumaras are able to go to that place. So this is what has happened, okay, so far. And now these demigods were curious to know about what Vaikunta is all about, and they wanted to know more about Vaikunta, and hence we are seeing the descriptions of Vaikunta. Hope you're able to understand the context here, kids. Any questions? So we are going to the 23rd purport, okay? Here in Bhagavatam, in this verse, particularly, it is stressed that people who try to discuss and understand the real spiritual nature of the spiritual sky and the Vaikuntas are fortunate. So if you're hearing, say for example, who's on the call here? You guys are all hearing, okay, Advait, Isha, Janavi, Kapir, Kushi, Ramchandra, we have Samskriti, Smriti, Sudevi, Varun, everybody is listening. And if you're listening, say for example, you can be listening, or you can have your mind somewhere else, or you can be distracted and use internet browsing to make use of this time. So yeah, you can say you're in Govinda class, but you're actually browsing something else. Is that a good idea? No, not at all. Because here Bhagavatam has to be heard with rapt attention. And also people who are hearing this particular thing about spiritual nature of the spiritual sky, we are talking here about Vaikunta. Whoever is hearing all this, they're also fortunate, it seems. So you all have to be fortunate people if you're seriously listening. The variegatedness of the Vaikunta planets is described in relation to the transcendental pastimes of the Lord. But instead of trying to understand the spiritual abode and the spiritual activities, people are now interested in political and economical developments. To our context, you can be interested in games, you can be interested in video games, you can be interested in browsing, you can be interested in watching something that's put up on YouTube, whatever it is. That's what we are interested in Kali Yuga. But again, that's not the right thing. Hold many conventions, meetings, and discussions to solve the problems of this worldly situation, where they can remain for only a few years, but they are not interested in understanding the spiritual situation of the Vaikunta world. Again, you know, in Kali Yuga, the age of a person who lives in this Kali is very, very short. He's a short-lived person. And if he's not going to hear in his lifetime, if he's not going to hear about Vaikunta, then he's not fortunate at all. If they are not fortunate, if they are all fortunate, they will go back to Godhead. But unless they understand the spiritual world, they rot in this material darkness continuously. So we will all be suffering in this material world if you don't hear spiritual subject matter, for sure. Okay, so you really have to pay attention. Otherwise, Prabhupada is saying our life is doomed and we'll suffer constantly. Now, 24th verse, we are going into the we are actually going into the 24th verse. Here, Brahmaji condemns very vehemently the condition of a human being who does not take interest in the personality of Godhead and his transcendental abode, Vaikunta. So he's actually condemning, means he's actually very much against those people. He's actually he's very angry about those people who are not taking interest. Okay, the human form of life is desired even by Brahmaji. Can you believe it? He's in Satyaloka, but he also wants a human form of life, because the human form of life will be able to perfect our lives. This is why all of them, all the demigods, they want to come to the earthly planet to have a human form of life through which we can actually attain perfection. Brahma and other demigods have much better material bodies than human beings. Yet demigods, including Brahma, nevertheless desire to attain the human form of life so that they can attain transcendental knowledge and perfection of life. It is not possible to go back to Godhead in one's life, but in the human form, one should at least understand the goal of life and begin their Krishna consciousness. You are all very, very fortunate kids, because you're all attending Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, so many classes. I am so inspired. Okay, even I can't do as much as you guys do. But that is what Brahmaji is actually praising. He wants to come to this earthly planet to be one amongst us, to be one amongst like us devotees, and then perfect our life, get transcendental knowledge and go back to Krishna. So this is what even Brahmaji is looking for. So we should actually understand our goal. When our goal becomes clear, then we'll be able to perfect our lives. Okay, kids? It is said that the human form is a great boon because it's most suitable boat for crossing these nescience ocean. That is, it is important for us to cross this ocean of ignorance. The spiritual master is considered to be the captain of the boat, and the information from the scripture is a favorable wind for floating over the ocean of nescience. So the scriptures are favorable wind. The spiritual master is like a boat, okay, who's going to help us cross this ocean of nescience. The human being does not take the advantage of these facilities in this life. The human being who does not take advantage is a person who's committing suicide. Therefore, one who does not begin his Krishna consciousness in this human form of life, he loses his chance and he gives it up to the illusionary energy or Maya. That's what happens. If he doesn't take up to Krishna consciousness, then he will be allured by Maya. Brahma regrets the situation of such a human being. See, Brahma is able to clearly see there's this Jiva who's suffering in this material world because of his misidentification with matter. And this guy, he has a chance to go back to Godhead, but he doesn't want to perfect his life. He doesn't want to hear Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. He doesn't want to attend Govinda classes, then Madhava classes or Damodar classes. So what is the point of this person living in this earthly planet when I also want to come to the earthly planet to have this human form of life? Are you not able to understand? Like that he's asking all of us. But you guys are very, very good. All right, the last verse for today. Okay, kids. So the symptoms of happiness and tears in the eyes must appear in a person who has chanted the holy names of the Lord offenselessly. So everybody is actually looking for offenseless chanting. When we start committing offenses, then we have anarthas. Because of anarthas, we are not able to have the bliss in Krishna consciousness. This is what is happening to all of us. And that is why it's pointed out that offenseless chanting, if you are offenselessly chanting the names of the holy names of the Lord, then what happens in that process is that tears will start rolling out of our eyes and happiness will start to sprung up. Okay, so in Chaitanya Charitamrita, okay, so if we have these symptoms of happiness and tears in the eyes, then we are eligible to go back to Godhead. It is said in Chaitanya's Charitamrita that if one does not develop these symptoms while chanting Hare Krishna, it is understood that the person is still offensive. That is the problem. Okay. There it is said in the verse chapter 8, 31 of Adi Lila chapter 8, it says that if anyone takes the shelter of Lord Chaitanya and chants the holy name Hare Krishna Mahamantra, then he becomes free from all the offenses. So it's important for us to actually remember Lord Krishna. Remember Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And if we take full shelter of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu during our chanting, then what happens is we will become free from our offenses. This is what would happen to all of us. So now I want to quickly ask some questions to all of you and then adjourn, okay? And then I think Preethi Mataji will take over the class. Okay, I have some raised hand here. Who's the raised hand? I'm not able to see. One raised hand is seen. Who's
It's me, Kabir.
Oh, okay, Kabir, go ahead.
And Lakshmi, you can offer food from Lakshmi in the temple.
You're so knowledgeable for your age, Kabir. Where did you learn all this from? Anyways, very good. So now question and answer time, okay? Kids, just a few questions to see if you've attentively listened to the class. Let's see. The first question, where is Lakshmi ji happy? Sudevi, birthday girl?
She's happy at the lotus feet of the Lord.
Lotus feet of the Lord. What is going on with Ravana when he kidnapped Sita? Was Sita ji happy there? Okay, Isha, go ahead.
Mati, can Advait answer?
Advait, I'll look for a tougher question for you. Wait.
Okay.
Yes, Isha, go ahead.
So, can you say the question again, Mataji?
Okay, now the question goes to Radha.
So even though Lakshmi Devi was in this kingdom all the time, he was not happy, because if Lakshmi ji is not happy, then no one will be happy. Mostly like that.
Ravana and Sita ji. Yeah. So Ravana was, because he.
Fawn.
What?
Sita ji is kind of like the fawn of Lakshmi ji, right?
Yeah, she's the form, but you didn't completely say the answer. Varun, can you explain, dear? See what happened? Why Lakshmi ji or Sita ji was not happy with Ravan? That's the question.
So why Lakshmi was not happy with what Ravana did?
Yeah.
Because when you take away Sita, that makes the Lord unhappy.
Correct. And she will not be happy without doing service to the Lord. Since he separated since the Sita ji was separated from the Lord, she was not happy. She was Sanchal. Okay. And so what is the process for getting rid of the offenses? Advait. And then I'll come to Kabir and Janavi.
Taking the shelter for Chaitanya.
Wonderful. Yes, Janavi, you got it right. All right. And Kabir, what do you want? You want to answer a question? Let me think.
They want Lakshmi but not Krishna.
Correct. Okay. Advait, I asked you. I think you didn't answer, dear, but that's okay. Janavi answered. Pranav also wants to answer a question. Let me think. I'm forgetting the episode here. Okay. So who are the two sons of Diti? Pranav.
Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu.
Okay. And who went to Brahma for asking benedictions? I mean, they wanted to basically, somebody went to Brahmaji and told about their issue. Who actually told?
The demigods.
Demigods, correct. Who said that?
Smriti Mataji.
Smriti. Okay. So with this, we can adjourn for today, if it's okay. We have moral stories by Preethi Vilasini Mataji. She's made a wonderful PowerPoint. Even I'm eager to listen. Unfortunately, I have to go. But Varun, you stay here, okay? All right.
Mataji, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Mataji, is she Sita G or Sita J?
I actually said Sita ji out of respect, Mataji.
Fine. But I thought she was Sita J. Her father's name is Janak, right?
Janak, yeah. I actually didn't mean that, but that was beautiful. Thanks for pointing it out. I just wanted to call her out of respect. I just Sita ji. But thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
I was just joking, Mataji. Didn't mean anything.
Oh, no problem.
Okay. So,
My mom is saying thank you, Radhika Kasturi Mataji.
Oh, thank you, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, as usual. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpa tarubhyasya kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Pitulasi Mataji, that emotion is so funny.
anyway, so everyone is excited to hear moral stories? Yes, no?
Yes.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, so we are going to get into moral story time. So we're going to see the...
Why the rose is wearing a clown nose?
I didn't get you. What is that?
Why is the rose wearing a clown nose?
Proud Rose, we'll figure it out.
No, why the rose is wearing a clown nose?
I just found a funny picture.
Mati, what's the story about?
Yeah, it's about the Proud Rose. Okay, so these are all moral stories, so don't ask logic and all, but it's just some moral. Okay, so because you all like moral stories, we are getting into the moral story time. Okay, let's see the story of the Proud Rose. So once upon a time, there was a beautiful garden. In that garden, there were many little plots like the garden in your backyard. So there were several plots with flowering, and there were many. And many of these trees did not give any fruit or flowers. Someone is unmute, can everyone mute this thing?
Yeah, it's cutting, Mataji.
Yeah, okay. Can everyone mute? Yeah. That's really nice. Thank you. Okay. So it was a beautiful garden, like the garden in your backyard. And there were many flowering pots, and there were also many trees that did not give any fruits or flowers. But there was one beautiful pot that had a lovely rose flower. Okay. So as you all know, rose is one of the most beautiful flowers that one can spot. Very, very beautiful, colorful rose. So looking at that rose, the trees and the plants and all of them around kept telling that rose, "Oh, Rose, you're so beautiful. You are the most beautiful thing in the creation. We are all not so fortunate because we don't look as beautiful as you." So they said that. And then there was a sunflower who was there. And the sunflower, no, sorry, there was another tree there who told this tree, "Why are you thinking like that? I think everyone has something special in them. So it's not that the rose is the only thing that is worthy of being here, because everybody have something, some people have certain drawbacks, but then there are other positive qualities. It is not that only the rose has all the beauty in the universe and rest of us are useless. Okay. But then the rose was very proud. So the rose said, "Oh no, actually, I'm the most beautiful thing in this entire creation. And I'm the only one who should be in this garden. And I don't know why I am in this place with all sorts of nasty pots. You guys don't even look pretty. I see a cactus plant here. This cactus plant is full of thorns. It's unworthy of my association. So I think I should move away from this place." So the rose plant was trying to move away from that place. But then the sunflower looked at the rose and told the rose, "Oh, Rose, why are you so proud? Why are you making such strange statements? I think everybody has some value. It's not that only you should exist." Okay. So the sunflower said that the cactus is actually, it has a lot of value. Why do you think that the cactus is a, thorny bush and you should move away from the cactus? In fact, sunflower tells that the rose also has thorns. It's not that the rose is, completely pretty. You see little thorns in the stem. The rose also has thorns, right? So everyone has a little drawback, and they also have a lot of positive qualities. Just like how the rose may have thorns, the cactus also has thorns, but the cactus also has great benefit. So the sunflower was trying to convince the rose not to be proud. But then the rest of them said, "It's okay, let her be the way she is because she's not going to change." Then what happened? It was the peak of summer. Okay. So it started getting really, really hot. It became 100 Fahrenheit. It became 120 Fahrenheit. So it became so hot and the rose started to wilt. Okay. The rose was actually dying out because the rose did not have enough water. However, at that time, what happened? There were many birds in that place because it's a garden, right? So there were a lot of birds and butterflies. So the birds, they came and they started pecking on the cactus. The rose was very curious. The rose was wondering, why is it that these birds are coming and pecking on the cactus? What are they getting out of the cactus? So the sunflower told, actually, these birds are getting water from the cactus. The water is stocked in the cactus. Have you any time broken a cactus, anybody? It has water. It saves water in its body. So the birds, because they were all thirsty, they were coming and they were picking the cactus and they were taking water from the cactus. And the sunflower said, "Look at the cactus. That is the quality of the cactus. The cactus is ready to undergo any pain so that he can serve others and make others happy. He's not frowning because the birds are coming and pecking him, right? He seems to be very happy. He's happy
Mataji,
with hmm?
Mataji, I'm gonna have to leave right now.
Yeah.
Okay, Hare Krishna Mataji, bye.
So the cactus is very happy in sharing, and the cactus wants to make others happy. So that is the positive quality of cactus, and everyone is benefited by it. And then the rose was withering and withering, and the rose was about to leave its life because it was so hot. But then the cactus suggested that the birds may collect water droplets and then go and drop it onto the rose. So these birds, they collected water from the cactus. And as you see in this picture, they went and started dropping water onto the rose and the rose bloomed again. Okay, so at this point in time, the rose's pride was completely crushed. It understood that everybody has something special or unique in them. the greatest quality of a person is in remaining humble and always thinking about the welfare of all living entities. So one should always be beneficial to others. One should not be so proud that he thinks that only I am worthy of existence and the rest of them are useless. Okay, so that is what the rose was feeling, and this is how the cactus was. So the rose understood a very beautiful lesson on humility from this cactus. Okay, story number 1. Okay, all these stories are going to get connected because you children like multiple stories. We have 2-3 stories and we're going to tie them all together. Is that okay?
Okay, how many stories are there?
I think 3-4. We go fast. Okay, so humility is extremely important. One should not have pride, right? So this is a story of a deer. Now, sometimes we see negativity in others. Okay, we think that the other person is not worthy. I am very good. Okay, that is one kind of psychology. There is another psychology where we think that there is something in me that is not good, but I have some positive things. So I will only nurture, the beautiful things in me. But I have so many useless things. So I don't want to have this, that kind of feeling sometimes we have. Like, for example, if a person is very good at singing, they may think, oh, I sing so beautifully. But maybe that person is not very beautiful. So they look at the mirror and they think, I wish I had a better face. I wish I looked like Jahnavi, or I wish I looked like Smriti or Balavrinda. They think like that. Okay. So they think, oh, I'm not so beautiful, but I can sing. So they get very proud about one quality and they forget that the other quality is also very, very useful in one sense. Even if you may not be very beautiful, your face may have very beautiful features. Okay, that could come handy. So there was this deer who had that problem. So this deer, he would go and every day he would go and drink water in a beautiful pond. And he would look at his reflection in the pond. He had beautiful antlers. Antlers are those horn kind of things that the deers have. Okay. So he would look at those antlers and he would think, wow, these antlers look so beautiful, so beautiful. But however, he would look at his legs. His legs were so thin and stick-like, right? They look like sticks. He would look at his leg and he would think, these legs are so ugly. They look like sticks. I wish I didn't have these legs. I wish I had big fat legs and I continued to have these antlers. So that's how the deer was thinking about himself. Okay, but actually what happened? While he was contemplating about the beauty of his antlers and the ugliness of his legs, at that time, suddenly a hunter came. So when a hunter comes, what should a deer do? Anyone?
Run away, mataji.
Run away and save itself.
Run away so it saves itself, so he can be safe.
Run away for to save himself. Otherwise, he's gonna be.
Yeah, to run, you need swift legs, right? The deer has very swift legs. So the legs came handy. He immediately started running. The thing that he thought is ugly was actually coming handy at that time. But then what happened? His antlers, the so-called beauty, the pride that he had, that antlers got stuck in the branches. And once the antlers got stuck, he also got stuck and he couldn't move. So that which he thought is his greatest strength actually pulled him down. So sometimes the pride that we have can result in major fall downs. If you look at most of us,
Did the deer die from the hunter, Mataji?
Anama? Was it?
Did the deer die from the hunter?
No. Krishna helped. Okay, he ran away after that. Okay, don't worry. The deer didn't die. He lived. Okay, so now, so sometimes what happens is we may become very proud about one particular attribute of ours. Like, for example, some people may be great, they may be very good at giving classes. Okay, so they become very, very proud. Okay, I'm so good at giving classes. They become very proud, and that very pride can lead to their fall down. Why? Because of two reasons. One is sometimes you may become so overconfident that you think, oh, I know everything. I don't even have to prepare. I'll just go talk whatever I want, right? So just like great swimmers, You know, most of the people who drown in waters, they are generally great swimmers because they are so confident that they can swim. That's why they go into the deepest parts of the oceans. But a person who doesn't know how to swim or who's not very confident wouldn't experiment too much, right? He would not even get into the waters. So sometimes because of our overconfidence, we think that we know it, and we become very proud. But that itself can result in great disasters. In this picture, you see a person who's climbing up a ladder. Now, if he goes on the topmost rung of the ladder and he falls down, will he hurt his head more? Or if he falls down from the first or the second rung of the ladder, when will his head hurt more if he falls down?
No, Mataji.
Very badly.
From top.
From top, yes. If he's pure and he falls down, he'll have a greater impact on his head. If he's from the first to the second rung and he falls down, nothing will happen. He'll just lose balance at the most, right? So sometimes we go to great heights, okay? Because we think we have a particular talent, we become very proud. We reach great heights. But as we reach great heights and as we become better and better at it, sometimes you may be singing very well, okay? Or you may be dancing very well. You might be a great dancer. But if you're too overconfident and you raise and raise and raise and you go so high and you're still proud, if there is a small slip, small mistake, small slip, you'll hit yourself really, really hard. Okay? It's going to be a big disaster. So one should be very cautious and very careful as one progresses in whatever quality that they are nurturing. Okay, so if you have a very good, if you're a very good singer, be always aware, go well prepared, and be aware that, I cannot just take things for granted. I cannot develop my pride so much because the same pride can actually lead to your fall down. And when you have a fall down after reaching such great heights, the hurt that you have is also very intense. Okay. So that is what this deer story also tells us. He was so proud of his antler, but that very antler was the cause of his being caught by the hunter. But Krishna saved him. He didn't die, don't worry. But he was caught by the hunter because of the antlers. So one should be very aware and careful, not take things for granted. And that is why the most important teaching of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Trinadapi Sunicha. Do you all want to chant this together? This verse, you all know this.
Yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
So to become a devotee of the Lord, one should be very humble and very grounded. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says one should be like the grass. How? Because even if you step on the grass, what does the grass do? It just springs back, right? It's very humble. It bends down. When you step on the grass, it bends down. But then it's also very resilient. Resilient means to come back, okay? And again, it bends down. Again, it comes back. So that is the nature of the glass. One should be like that when one does devotional service. You should be very humble. At the same time, you should never give up your service. You should always come back, spring up for your service. Be humble, always spring up for your service. So that is the nature that you do devotional service like grass. What do you learn from the tree? The tree is very tolerant. The tree just stands there when it is the hot sun. It stands there during snow. It stands there when there is wind. Whatever the situation may be, the tree is solid, right? The tree doesn't even move. It just stays there. And the tree is always ready to serve. If there is a person who wants shade, that person comes and sits under the tree. So the tree gives. If someone wants a fruit, the tree gives the fruit. If someone wants flowers, the tree gives flowers. So the tree is always giving. The tree is always very tolerant. Sometimes there could be a person who's a woodcutter, okay? He might come to chop off the tree, but the same tree, knowing that he's a woodcutter, will give him shade. That woodcutter would rest under the tree. So that is the nature of the tree, being very tolerant. So this is how we deal with people in Krishna consciousness. We should be humble. At the same time, we should be very, very tolerant. Actually, I'll tell you what, it is not very difficult to be humble. At least we can act like we are humble. We can go and say, oh, I'm very humble. I'm very humble. Oh, please, please, please. I'm such a fallen devotee. Oh, don't praise me. I'm the fallen of the fallen. I am your insignificant servant. All this is very easy to do. But to be tolerant, that is a little more difficult. Because we can't tolerate even a little bit of differences between our friends, right? We get angry, we get emotional, and then we don't want to talk to them. So all sorts of problems come up. So tolerance is actually slightly more difficult. But you know what is very difficult? We'll see that. Being respectful to others. Amanina manadina. This means not just giving respect to others. Also, very, very important. The biggest teaching that is there in these two verses is not to expect respect from others. Now, this is the most difficult part. For us, it's easy to give respect to others. It is not difficult. If a senior person comes, oh, we give them all the respect, we give them all the place, everything. But if someone tells us something, can we tolerate it? We demand respect. If someone doesn't respect us, do we like that person? Like, he's not even respectful. This person is treating me so badly. Immediately we get offended. Right? Remember the story of Durvas Muni and Ambarish Maharaj. What happened? Durvas got so angry because Ambarish did not respect him. Right? So we demand respect. However, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Amanina Manadena. You don't even expect others to respect you. That is real humility. If you can practice these four, then you can chant the holy names very nicely. That's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling. Now, all this is very difficult. I know these are high standards, but at least intellectually we can grasp all of this and then try to implement it little by little in our lives. Okay. Now, putting all these different qualities together, there is one more story. So the first story we saw is about pride, right? And how the pride was crushed. And there was a realization by the rose that just being beautiful is not everything. We should acknowledge the good in everyone. That was the first story. Second story, we saw the story of the deer. Sometimes we have some good qualities and we become very proud about that quality. But that very quality can lead to our fall down. That is the second story we saw. And then we try to tie in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings and we realized that we should treat everyone nicely. We should see good in everyone and we should not become too proud of ourselves. If we become too proud of ourselves and if there is a fall down, we fall down like that person who fell from the topmost rung of the ladder, right? So we should be very careful. Now, putting everything together, we have a very sweet story that happened 1,000 years ago. Okay. So in India, 1,000 years ago, there was a very strict classification of the social orders, meaning there were certain outcast people who were not allowed to enter the temple. Okay. But however, they were great devotees. There were many people who were great devotees. Like, for example, you all know the story of Haridas Thakur, right? Haridas Thakur was born in a Mohammedan family. Did he enter Jagannath temple? Has he ever entered Jagannath? No, he would not enter Jagannath temple. Though Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself wanted Haridas Thakur to come, but Haridas Thakur would not come. He would respect the social norms. He would say, oh, I'm an outcast, I'm not. So like that, in those days, there were some outcast people who would not enter temples, okay? There was one very great soul by the name Tiruppan Alvar, okay? He's one of the two Alvars. Alvars are the saints from South India. So he was a very, very great saint. And pan means it's an instrument like a veena. You see in this picture, he's holding an instrument, right? It's like a tambura or a veena, something like that. Tiruppan Alvar. So like a tambura. So he would play that for the pleasure of the Lord, but he would stand on the other side of the river and he would see the temple, Gopuram that you see here, the temple tower. He would look at it and he would sing praises of Lord Ranganath. Okay, Ranganath, this deity, was inside this temple.
Mataji, I think I know what's the instrument.
Now, what is it?
I think it's a sitar.
Oh, very good. So he had a sitar, okay? So he had a sitar and he would sing praises of the Lord standing on the other side of the river because he felt that he was insignificant and he should not enter the temple.
Mataji?
Go to the other side of the bank Sometimes he would come to this side of the bank, but he would never enter the temple. One day, there was a great pujari, okay? That pujari, he came to put some water from the Kaveri river to go and worship the Lord.
Mataji,
Yes, tell me.
and maybe that I think that person who is from near to the water, maybe that's Naraya.
His name is Sarangamuni, the one who fetch water.
But he looks like Narada.
He looks like that, but he's not Narada. Okay.
Okay.
Cutie. Okay. So so there was this particular person who was the pujari. His name was Sarangamuni. He would come to actually pick up some water for the worship of the deities. They would do abhishek, right? So he would come to the river and he would fill a pot and then he would take it for abhishek. But that day when he came to fill the water pot, this outcast person, Tiruppanalvar, was standing there. He got very irritated. Actually, sometimes this one who's standing with the instrument, right? He would be so absorbed in thinking about the Lord. He would be singing about the Lord and he'll just be completely absorbed. He'll be in meditation, in a trance, and he would be standing like that. Now, when the Sharanga Muni, he came to actually pick water, he saw that this man was standing in the way. Okay. He was very irritated. He was very tired that day. So he told him, hey, move out. I have to go to you're just blocking my way. Just move out of this place. But however, he was in trance, right? He was absorbed in thinking about the Lord. He did not move. So what this person did out of anger is that he took a piece of stone and he hit him. Now that piece of stone actually hit him on his forehead and Tiruppanalvar started bleeding. But he realized, he came out of his trance and he realized that he was in the way of a person who had come to fetch water for the Lord. So he apologizes. He tells, I'm extremely sorry. I didn't mean to block your way. Your service is very, very important. Please go ahead and finish your service. So this is something that every devotee has, right? If someone is doing service in the temple, you don't want to block their service. That is a very important quality. But at the same time, the person who's doing service should not take the other person for granted. They should always respect the others. Okay? Just because that person is not doing direct service, it doesn't mean that that person is useless. He's also doing service. He's singing the praises of the Lord standing in a distance. So we should be respectful of all living entities. Okay. But however, what did Sharangamuni do? He picked a stone and he threw it on his head. His head started bleeding, but Tiruppanalvar started feeling guilty. He apologized. He said, I'm extremely sorry. I'm extremely sorry. I didn't know you were coming to fetch water for the Lord. Your service is very important. I'll give way. Please forgive me. And he goes in. Okay. Meanwhile, what happened is when this Sharangamuni, he got the water, he went inside the temple and he was ready to do the abhishek. He saw that the deity, you see the deity's picture here, Rangana, his forehead was bleeding. So what does it mean? It means that the Lord takes the pain of his devotee. Okay. Just like when Haridas Thakur was beaten in 22 marketplaces, who had all the whip marks on his back? Who took the whip marks?
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Sri Mahaprabhu.
Because Haridas Thakur is his dearest devotee. He will take the pain of his devotee. So like that, Lord Ranganath's forehead was bleeding. He just absorbed all the pain that Tiruppanalvar was going through and his forehead was bleeding when Sharangamuni went to bathe the Lord and he was shocked. Now he understood the value of that devotee. He could be an outcast, but he loved the Lord so much that the Lord took up his pain. He felt extremely bad for the mistake that he did. And then he goes home. He doesn't apologize at this point. He just goes home. He feels very bad and he goes home. That day night in the dream, the Lord appeared and he told him, unless you bring that outcast inside my temple and give him darshan with all respect, I can never forgive you for what you have done. So the next day, Sharangamuni, he goes and he begs the Tiruppanalvar to actually come to the temple. But then Tiruppanalvar doesn't come. Actually, the Lord tells him, if he refuses to come, you should carry him on your shoulders and bring him. Only then I will be appeased. Unless you respect him so much that you put him on your shoulders and you bring him inside the temple, then only you'll be forgiven for what has been done. So the Sharangamuni, he goes, he apologizes to Tirupanalvar. Tirupanalvar says, I will not come because I'm an outcast. If I come, the purity of the temple will go. But then Sharangamuni says, you don't have to step into the temple. I will carry you on my shoulders. So he carries him. He takes him inside Ranganath. That is when Ranganath's doors open. Ranganath's doors refused to open because Ranganath was so angry. But then finally the temple doors open and then he carries him on his shoulders and then he releases him down. He gets down in front of the deity. And that is when he sings beautiful songs about the beauty of Lord Ranganath from his feet till his crown. So they are very, very beautiful verses in praise of Lord Ranganath. So this is the story of a very simple, humble person. But it also tells us the mistakes that we can do in pride. We might be a learned scholar, we might be a great deity worshipper, we may be anything, we may just be anything. But we cannot take other people for granted. We have to give all due respect for everyone. Stay humble. Don't expect respect from everyone. You know, the Sharangamani, he was thinking he is very worshipable because he's going to bathe the Lord. So if anyone comes in the way, I'll hit them. Is that the right thing to do? No, you never expect respect from.
No, Mataji.
And we should be.
It's a very bad thing, Mataji.
Yeah, and you should be very tolerant. So, Trinadapi Shunichena, Taroriva Sahishnuna, Amani Namani Dena, Kirtaniya Sada. Okay, so all these stories teach us about humility and giving respect to others. Now, I'll tell you something very important. What is humility? What is humility? Humility is not, thinking that, oh, I'm very fallen, I'm very less. That's a that humility.
Mataji, humility means that you're thinking you're very low.
That is what we are thinking is humility, right? That is correct. That
like if you're like thinking like you're proud because you're thinking of your mind, but you're not. You're thinking like higher. You're like thinking you're good, but actually you're doing bad.
I know. See, whatever both of you said.
Humility means to be humble.
Correct, be humble. Very nice. So all of you are correct. But actually, sometimes it's funny. You know what real humility is? To think, not just to think less of yourself. I'm so low, I'm fallen. Not that. That is not humility. Humility means thinking of yourself less. What is the difference between these two? Anyone can tell me the difference between these two statements? Read what is there on the screen and tell me what you understand. Yes, Smriti, tell me.
Humility is not just thinking, oh, I'm so fallen. Whenever you see someone good, oh, I'm so fallen. But it's actually that if you see somebody good, just say, oh, how good they are and start praising. Because they're saying, don't think so much of yourself. And if you're thinking of humility this way, you're really thinking so high.
Very good. Actually, you made the point. You said, don't think so much about yourself first, right? That is self-humility.
Mataji?
I am fallen. I am this. I am that. So don't think so much about yourself. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So, like you said, like you get hurt by your head, he said, oh, you're actually dwelling your head. I'm not going to help you because you're never gonna do it, and then you broke your eyebrow, and then he said, no, do not do this, be ugly, and then you became ugly, and then everybody you became like you're a bad person, and then you're sad.
You said, yeah, yes, Kavish, very true, very, very true. Yeah, the humility means thinking less of yourself, not just thinking less of yourself, rather thinking of yourself less. Don't keep thinking about yourself all the time. That itself is humility. Okay, I have to be in the center. I have to do this. I have to do that. I have to. Why is your consciousness all about yourself? It has to be focused towards Krishna. pleasing Krishna. It's not about you, my consciousness. It's about Krishna consciousness. Okay, that itself is humility. So it's a very beautiful quote, and it's often quoted by all our Guru Maharajas. All of them, they often give this verse about humility. It's a nice thing to meditate. Okay, so we'll stop here, and we went over time. Oh my God, it's 8:27.
Oh no.
Oh no. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Okay. So we'll meet again. Oh, tomorrow you have class with Sita, Preethi, Friday. And then we'll meet with the Govinda classes from Monday. Okay? Hare Krishna, Vancha Kalpatarubhyas.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Dandam Baram.
Brahma. Hare
Thank you, Mataji. Bye, Janavi.
Technology.
Closing the call. Bye bye.
Bye, Mataji.
Vilasini.